want to stop listening to this song. It's been on replay for a couple of months. I don't know if you know it, but please know it. Ljubljana is the artist. Every song she makes these days, I'm just in love with this woman. Andrea Bia is back with us today. That is so great. Hello.
Hello, but I'm in the car for today.
Okay, good. Well, you're here at least, in the ways you can be. And we are missing a couple. Michelle should be here soon, etc. But wow. Where to even begin? I guess I'll just open the space for you to share a little bit. But I want to name that I am aware that something very deep and very immenso, right? In Italian, right? Was that the word? So gorgeous. Something very immense opened up in our bodies yesterday together. I know it did. I know some of us feel it a lot more, maybe, than a couple of others. Maybe in some bodies it's more subtle, but I do know through the group body that something, some tectonic plates really moved, and they're not done moving. And I personally went to the forest right away. This was the only way I could handle and be with the unfolding. And a lot of emotion opened up and a lot of yearning and longing and kind of longing that I had banned myself from, yearning that I had been kind of, yeah, like these kind of dreams or things that I really need and want and desire, right? The claws. And I had to admit to myself again. And so anyway, I had I am in a very deep process with it. And I could feel and I could see the tears in your eyes yesterday as we were ending the session. Some of you cried, some of you were just in reverence, some of you, and I did look through the WhatsApp thread this morning because I knew it was coming, what you were sharing there. And it's just so rich. And just to think that I almost was going to have Genevieve recorded just between she and I and not share her with you live, I would have stolen that away from you. And it just, thank God that didn't happen. But today I want to open the space for you to share maybe a little bit, like, for those of you who want to share a little, like something essential about what moved for you in witnessing Genevieve, and we can start there. Learning from Genevieve, experiencing Genevieve, and then we can also touch on, in the later portion of our discussion, we can touch on what happened in the earlier portion, because I felt that really powerful too, when we were co-guiding, and I, please, like, hold me to it, and I have to hold myself to it. But today we absolutely also have to give like a really good spacious portion of our time toward the personal genius work, which really is the same work that we have been opening up for the last 2 weekends, and especially yesterday as well with Genevieve. It's not different work, but we have to keep opening that up. So that is our work today. So come on in, anyone who, and I know some of you already shared, but maybe we can hear from just from the hearts of people who are still moved and tender and empowered and charged. And what was the word she kept using? Reaccumulating feminine power. And do you feel your heart reaccumulating? And it's all we're doing here, right? It's basically all we're doing. We're reaccumulating this forgotten feminine power. But tell us in your own words, how are you touched? What in you is trembling and the aftermath?
I'll share. I I'm just loving the parts work you're bringing in to all of this because it feels new, and there was something really potent about being this body, this piece of you. Okay, now it's time to go somewhere else. And like the people get really stuck in their parts. And so the permission to just shift and kind of like be looking back at that part like, am I bringing her? Am I leaving? Like, what's going on here? It felt really, really powerful. And I noticed in that experience, I really tapped into just this awareness of a part of me that is so sensory and tactile, and um, it's all about touch. I went to massage school when I was 17. Like I knew that touch was healing. And it's like I keep bumping back up against that part of me that got lost, because when I did touch people, I received imagery and words and it scared the fuck out of me. And I thought I was losing my mind because I was a kid and I had nobody to really help me understand intuition and what that was. So I hard shut that part of me off. Um, so it felt like a retouching that point and a reawakening to this awareness that I do have that in my system. And I'm going to be doing in June a workshop on touch in therapy, from a somatic approach, and I'm really fucking excited about it. So that journey supported me, and I just felt like this accumulation, right, of like bringing all of these different parts of me home and remembering that they're always all there. So I really appreciated that. And then with Genevieve's practice, yeah, someone mentioned in the Facebook group, I think it was Nina M. Or maybe it wasn't. Anyway, but the accumulation of doing one practice over and over and over again, and what nuances might you find in your body in that practice, in that awareness. Um, so there was a curiosity for me there that got sparked around, my practice feels so haphazard, and is there a way I can kind of ground my practice in some way with even just one movement series that's just like my thing, and then I can go crazy after that, but this is like my grounding, bringing myself back home type practice. Yeah, so just a lot of rich material from yesterday.
Mhm,
Thank you.
mhm, mhm. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just take this opportunity to weave in one piece that I think maybe more people will touch on later as we speak. But so Genevieve and I have been in this conversation not just once, and I am such about this particular thing, right, that I'm about to name. Um, I'm such a free body spirit that I absolutely rebel every single time someone tells me what to do in my body. I will not take it. I can't do it. Do not tell me how my body needs to move. Do not tell me what to do with my arms and my hips. Like it just no, right? Which is why I do the work I do, which is completely intuitive. And so just wanted to put this into perspective. And, to be completely honest, I've done so much work with Genevieve as a participant in her trainings and her Qigong, which is basically, it's what she calls spiritualized martial arts. Is what she teaches, these forms, which she cultivated and developed, which are magnificent, obviously worked for so many of you. In full transparency, the forms have never worked for me ever. Like love exploring and feel like, and seeing what happens to people, but like it doesn't really do much for my body. I love the philosophy behind them, the stories behind them. But what we've been, and this is the point that I wanted to kind of drive in, that there is such a richness in both places of, I feel like I'm doing the reversed orientation of what Genevieve does, which is like there's a mythopoetic force wanting to flow through your body. How does it want to flow through your body? Like, let your body show you that, right? Whereas she kind of does the opposite. She says, here is how mythopoetic force flows through your body. Do it this way, do it over and over again. And it's like, wow, right? But they're kind of the sun and the moon, but they're both so needed. And I wonder if you may chime into about that too, like how that works for you. All right, Mouse.
I feel like you just described the science and the art a little bit, like the sun and the moon, and like as I was in the movement practice, it was like it took many times for it to begin to sort of descend into the body, to take the idea, and put it to the body. But as the movement began, I could start to feel myself become alive in the movement. And so then it sort of became this like mixing of, we're in the form, we're exercising the form, I'm allowing my body to move in the prescribed fashion, but my body is in its own process of response to what's happening. And so opening up in the small dance within the form, sort of, was my experience of it. And thank you so much for like sharing, Genevieve, with us. What the holy fucking, what the fuck? Yeah, wow.
Seriously.
Just wow. Yeah, and I was just felt in just like deep soul resonance the whole time, like, yeah, like just, yeah, I'm here for it. And like so many things that she was saying, like the perpetual, like working with the archetypes, even in these like every sphere of like this like liberation, or this like reclamation, or this archetypal process of like traveling through time to be like, okay, like something seriously got fucked up along the way, and like how do we make our way back to this like free spirit way of living, and like what's in the way? Okay, that's in the way. And then it's like, oh shit, but then there's this other piece, and like the perpetuation of like, even in the archetypal realm of like exploiting the archetypes, or like owning the archetypes, or like attaching to the archetypes as like some like form of identity, and like isolation again, like I'm the high priestess and you're the whatever, or like um yeah, so just like, yeah, I can see how that like works in me and other ways. And also just this like notion around like being a willing vessel by cultivating sensitivity, and like in my experience of like being like truly initiated by the ancient like force of feminine wisdom that has been literally imprisoned, abandoned, warehouse, subjugated, all these things. That fucking messy. It's so fucking messy. It's so fucking messy and disruptive. And like to like actually open to allow that energy to come alive, it's like, I mean, in my experience, it's just like, whoa, whoa. And like I'm still recovering from like that experience 3 years ago, and it's just refreshing to hear her speak to that
Mm.
process is really fucking intense.
Thank you, Maz. Archetypes are not possessions. They have bestowed themselves upon you to open your sensitivity. It's one of the things I wrote down that I think you were also speaking to at the beginning of your share. We have a lot of raised hands, so let's go to Petra.
Yeah. I raised my hand because I haven't really words and I'm looking for words. And by speaking now, I try to get something manifested in my head because it was so amorph what I experienced. Deeply impressed I was about how she explained or sees how the woman role, the feminine role was built, and to searching for a way without aggression to elevate from this.
Mm.
And what I remembered I grew up Catholic, and I had a long discussion with myself about what the Catholic Church did. And the patriarchal role coming out of the church and what this did to women. And I did a lot of work on myself in the role of a nun and being in this role. And I was once was sitting in this process in a church and had an inner dialogue with Jesus, and say. And what I experienced was there, it had to play out in order for us to grow out of those roles, to becoming more aware, not going back, rather than to develop to another better place. And what she explains there, it was very similar. From this, what we experienced, not going forward and finding or copying the role of the man and the patriarchal, and we do it and we have the elbows and go through and throwing other women out. How she, Darren, do you remember what Shakti called women's union? She called it. Where's Darren? Yes, she called this. She found this. And it took me a long time to understand that it is what we copying, and we are judging the other women from the eye of the patriarchal. That's what we're doing. So it was a very confined, missing a word, structure she brought forward with her thoughts. So yeah, it was very impressive, and I was very, very touched by it. So thank you for my rambling, listening to her.
Yeah, and thank God we have it recorded, right? And we can go back. And I mean, I feel like everything she ever utters, I want to write down and tell her, wait, hold on, I need to let this sit and sink in. And like I just need to live into this a little, right? Because she really moves at such velocity but it's incredible. I feel like I'm going to be listening to that recording over and over. And by the way, also I've done 2 interviews with her on the podcast, if you haven't listened to them yet. That conversation, Eros and the longing for an extraordinary life, on the podcast that we did like some years ago, it just is, yeah. I recommend it so much. And okay. Yeah, Nadia. Thank you, Petra. There's so much in what you're saying too. And yeah, I'm just gonna let it all be shared and live out there, all the questions and the ramblings and like, because we're trying. And okay, one more thing before I come to you, Nadia, like, there's so many ways of teaching and training. And I feel like with Genevieve, she moves on such a different realm, such a different like channel than what most teachers and people do, that I, for the purposes of time and training and, the breaking it down, making it digestible, making it understandable, right? I always with her, whatever we've done so many conversations with her, I will always find myself in the place of what she called hand gliding, like oh no, wait, pause here. Let us take this in. Then don't veer off for another 20 minutes over this way because we need to, like these people, I'm like, you need to teach these people how to guide other people into the archetypes. I keep trying to frame it some way or to narrow her in. And it's impossible to rein her in. It's impossible to do it. And so I just I'm like, okay, like I think my practice is just to be like, here's Genevieve, everybody, just, I do just stand back and receive, because the transmission is everything. And we learn everything by me not trying to control her, basically. So yeah, Nadia.
I think everything that she shared was impactful. For me, I struggle to find the words, but I ask myself very often when I look at what is happening in the world, this makes no sense. And listening to her, for the first time, everything made sense. And I've been asking myself the question, am I losing it the last couple of years? Why I don't hear people talk about this more often? So yesterday I had this affirmation that this is what it's all about. There were maybe no words or no way to comprehend it rationally, but she put it so clearly, so tangible. I could feel it in my senses. Like wearing this coat that just fits so perfectly and get the validation. I'm not crazy. This is the way. This is the only radical way. And also from a place of love. Because I've been wrestling like a sumo with this system, this patriarchal system, from such anger and grief and despair, to hear the words of motherhood from a patriarchal model. The truth, the vast truth and grief in those two words. It just blew me away.
Mm.
And the phrase, not to imitate the oppressor. Because that,
to imitate the what?
not to imitate the oppressor,
The oppressor.
which also for me it's this nugget of wisdom, because we do it not only with motherhood but everything. So bringing it all together, for me, where I am in this human experience, and I have been dying, and I didn't know, am I dying physically am I dying? Or is that part, this persona that was shaped by the system,
Mm,
is that person dying? And
mhm.
that feels good from this realization that the only way to have this radical transformation is to let that part of you die. Yeah, so there was a lot for me, and that's what I can
Well,
utter at
a
this
lot
point.
is moving, right? A lot is moved in us, and this is what's happening. We're so charged by what we have received, and that is a real transmission, right? That's an embodied transmission. So it's beautiful. And I love what you're presencing. Like, I want to repeat it one more time. We can't, I think that those were her words too. We can't have liberation by imitating the oppressor, right? We can't have liberation by building another image of woman who is in the image of the oppressor to fight the patriarchy, right? Like it's not how it works. Yeah, so beautiful. Darren.
I mean, as you said, basically every single word, starting with her opening line of, I'm one of the unborn children of the witches burnt at the stake who never got to have their babies, just to set the scene, was like a way to bring us all in. But I think for me, her telling the story about the mares was possibly one of the most potent pieces for me, because what I learned, it's one of the biggest lessons, and the lesson for me there from her and her work and what her work is and the prayer that her work is, that form was born out of her relationship with the natural world, her observation of wild, her relationship with horses, her being willing to see, her being in deep communion with the natural world. Her questions about life, which are our questions about life. Her, she's such a weaver, her academic mind and her questions and her prayers for the world and all of it there present in her while she's watching those horses. She's watching the feminine, she's watching the power, she's praying for the descent. And the absolute revelation for me was to be in awe of how she's woven all of that together in that form, and to have a little bit of an insight into that form, and to know that, wow, like you've created this structure for us to explore within, but it came from her observation, her relationship, and that's accessible to all of us. We can relate, like that's, for me, that was the invitation to me. That's what I took. I can have a relationship with the natural world around me. I can take that into my body. I can observe the bird, the bee, the sex-scented mare, whatever it is. And she's translated that as very personal to her and her experience and her path in life. But that's for all of us. All of us can have that sense of openness and relationship, and what we do with that and how we kind of ground that, like with our longing and our prayers, was such an inspiration that just was like, wow, like we can all make forms. That was her relationship with her ancestry. It was however it translates. It's she offered us that, but we all have like invocatory form within us, if that's how we choose to bring it through. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Gonna recite her again. Just, yeah. Forms that she said, I go to the river on any day when I feel called. She said, I go over to the bank of the river on my property or who knows where. And I do forms that reinforce my moral power toward the life that I want to lead. I practice forms that reinforce my moral power toward the life that I want to lead. Yeah. Thank you, Darren, so much. And what you're saying is so precious. Not just in what Genevieve is saying, but in what you're feeling in it too. Yeah. Irmak.
This is actually perfect place for what I wanted to share. Because I still feel very touched and tender from last night. And I remember her words about the river and the movement that she goes there and she practices those forms and calls in that shepherdess woman. And she actually felt that archetype many years before she actually brought that into embodied form. And what I reflected today, I practiced the form today, and when I wrote today to the group, like coming back to one very simple, not even a 60-minute not changing yoga class kind of, but just one simple practice that is like a unchanging thing that, you know, when you are, it's like you invest in it and you put your energy in it. It's like your meditation spot. When you sit on it, it's like a ritual, like you know, when you light your candle, it makes you remember that you are about to start something. When you sit on your spot, if you have one, that you are now stepping into a different realm. It's like that when you are all, you know, confused and, you know, lost, and you do this, now you're grounded. It's like very simple. It's like you invest in it, and it's just like another simple, short, but powerful key for me. That's what felt. That's what I felt for me with this. I mean, yeah. And thank you for the opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Irmak. Thank you. Andrea L.
I'm a little bit speechless because for me alone, the very presence of her is the teaching. She's naming the nameless. She's pronouncing the more interesting questions ever. And you feel that, but she already is the answer to all the questions she's asking, and even much more. The answer is already in her. She's living the wholeness of the answer in a way. And I have rarely been touched by any human being in my whole life as her, because she's so true. She's so true. She's so humble. She's so directly connected or emanating the source, or however you want to call it. She's incredible. And I yesterday came with so much rage, not of you, but I have too many burdens on my shoulders right now. I have almost no time for myself, and I came like so trapped in the archetype of being a mother, of being a daughter, by being a caregiver and doing everything for everyone else and nothing for myself. I have to impress, but it's also concretely this way. And I came so narrow, a little bit, you know? And then and then she gave me so much inspiration and also hope in the strength of women. I put in the chat the woman who wants to liberate herself from the chains that of guilt that other women are imposing on her, other oppressed women. And I feel that so much with my mother. She's an oppressed woman. She's putting everything on me now, and I don't want to take that. And so I am in a process of liberation myself as a daughter, also for my own daughter and for other women. And so Geneviève gave me so much, yes, collective strength, power, and joy, and she so much ignites the love for life, and yeah, with tenderness. I mean, she's a warrior, a spiritual warrior, spiritual martial arts, as you call it, or she calls it. And so she's, I have no words. She's just, wow. I mean, we need Geneviève. Yeah.
Mm. I agree. Thank you. Shall we invite her just to co-teach or teach the rest of the training? I think that would be so incredible. I wonder if there's a way for her to come back in. And I mean, I did hear her offer a private session for an hour and a half. I wasn't sure if she was saying just with me. I tried to sneak you into that too. I was like, they can come to. She's like, yeah, well, no. And I wasn't sure then because, yeah, anyway, I need to check in with her about that. But let me just say before I go to more of you, she did write after the session and said, I feel incredibly moved. I was very moved by your group and what happened in the space. So I think she's very appreciative of you as well and how you received her. Anna, with the two vocals and the vulnerable openness of your name and hello.
So one thing, first of all, thank you for inviting her, and also thank you for translating her during the talk, because it was really needed. As much as he was saying something super important, it was also really needed to like stop, translate, repeat. So very useful. And one thing you mentioned before, Stefana, is that your style of embodiment is letting stuff come out spontaneously from the body, whether it's a movement, it's a breath, a sound. And I think, I don't know if I have this idea because of something you said, Stefana, in the beginning of our course, that embodiment is like letting stuff come out of the body. And the other stuff like yoga and breath work, those are more somatic movement, but they're not embodiment. I don't know if this is something I just got in the mind for myself. But yeah, I think there is space for all, like this, the two types. And I think maybe the like the deep body style embodiment, which spontaneous stuff can come out, I think is very powerful because it's actually what your body needs. So like you cannot go wrong there. Just let stuff. And that's the intelligence of the body. And where I saw like, I don't know, a friend, she's doing breath work and I think she's doing the wrong one. Like she's doing a very fast type of breath work and she suffers of anxiety. And I told her like, I don't think that breath work is what is useful for you. I think that's going to increase your anxiety. But if she was doing some embodiment, and that's what I proposed to her, you will find your way for breathing, and it will be something that will help you to stabilize. But at the same time, I think also practices that are giving you something from the external, maybe they give you something that you need, and you don't have that act. You probably would get to that point anyway, but sometimes it would take you maybe a lot more time. So when you have a good practitioner, it can give you the right external kind of practice that is giving you what you need, whether it's then a movement, a pose, or a type of breath. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was one point. The other point is about being careful not to look with the eyes of the dominator. What was it?
Oppressor.
Oppressor, yes. I'm actually so in the process of examining this about embodiment and like to understand what I want to do for my embodiment practice, because I read one of the fathers of somatic, he was called Hannah, and he actually wrote down in a paper that he took stuff from yoga and tantra and then removed the spiritual unuseful stuff and just kept the useful stuff. And I thought, wow, that's like capitalistic mindset of like you only keep the stuff that you can count and prove and sell, and but this is trying to solve a problem, the problem our severance from spirituality and the earth and the community by practicing the same thing that actually caused the problem. But then I started to think, okay, what kind of spirituality do I want to use? Because I don't want to use something that is very far away from me. I want to use something that is local for me, because I want to be rooted in my earth, in my cycles. And so for me, like it feels like foreign to use a spirituality that comes from Tantra or from like Southern American shamanism. So yeah, now at the moment I'm like trying to understand, okay, then what can I find? And it's and in the end I'm thinking, okay, I will have to find it for myself, and maybe what Zenever is doing, like looking at the horses, like look closer and look the nature and see how they're doing it. Yeah, I think these are the main topics.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. I think, as Genevieve said yesterday, any practice ever offered here or anywhere else is the beginning, the opening, the doorway. It's almost like the frame of the door through which you enter. And then the exploration of the wilderness, of the wood, of the dark forest is for you only. And through the forms then you find to continue either evoking or finding or discovering or practicing. But the forest is for you alone. In the forest, you are alone. Every practice just gives you an entryway. And you can choose ones that make the most sense for your body and spirit to enter, but then you're on your own. And what happens after entering is the whole story. Right? What happens after the beginning is where we do all the looking, all the discovery, and all the finding. Thanks for bringing that up, Nina M.
First, I feel that Genevieve's presence has really strengthened us as a group, as a community of women. Like I feel the ripples in all of us, and the change and how we support each other in the change. And for the first time, I really felt something land in my body around how to be in this work in our socio-political landscape. Like I knew in a way it was radical, the deep body, etc., but something really went deep inside my womb around how is embodiment and how like in being in our own personal genius, something is dismantling, something is crumbling, even if maybe it's more, we are just the roots that are growing and making this huge building of patriarchy crumble. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's just how I feel right now. And so thank you, Stefana, for bringing us this gift, and also for bringing just transgender representation also on this cause. It's so important that, yeah, just to keep us open, to keep us questioning ourselves, with the, I don't know, ethics around like using the archetypes. Like it's so easy to hop on the back of one archetype and then going onto another and onto another instead of really deepening our relationships. So thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nina. Something about the transgender presence for sure for me was essential too, and has been for years now, to bring in like a Black presence, a transgender plant presence, an Indigenous presence, right? Like we can't just be hearing from, say the white guy or the white woman as always. But the thing is, just to think about a born male, who went on to claim her feminine expression and womanness, to then go on to teach us, born females, about the lost femininity of the world. Oof, right? So powerful. And there can be so much rebellion inside us too sometimes, right? Like I hear it socially, there's so much rebellion. It's like, oh, the men now shifting into women to come tell us what to do. And I get that, I really get that flavor too. But I'm actually just going to leave it right there, just to feel into that for yourself, and all of the possible resistances and pushbacks that you may have, but also the recognition that, wow, here is one male who went on to develop this and claim this within themselves, to want this within themselves, and to channel something profound about the lost feminine for us. It's incredible, right? Indigo.
Yeah, I think there's two parts that I want to share. One is I kept thinking of my grandmother, and who, she began as an actress in New York, and had this life as an artist, and then 1950s America, got pregnant, married, moved to California, became a housewife, and then became an extreme alcoholic to the point where she killed herself with alcohol within like, within like a decade or something like that. And it, became her entire day-to-day existence. And I just kept thinking of how that isolation, hearing my mother talk about her, she didn't want to do what the other, rich housewives or whatever were doing, and just thinking of that isolation of the self. And this book, A Room of One's Own, where this is instead 19th century America, and a woman is she's literally kept in her room all day and just occasionally able to go out into the yard or like down into the other parts of the house. And so she spends her day just she kind of goes crazy watching the wallpaper because that's all she has to do. And just thinking of this like compartmentalization that Genevieve was talking about, of this way in which different parts of us have been so separated and isolated and abused in that sense, because we've lost that continuity, that web of life that we're always talking about, trying to reach out in this embodiment space. And so the connectivity of like re-merging the parts again, feeling that that wholeness with the world around us, and even if it's just on our little plot of the world that we're in, that was really powerful and grounding for me. And then just heartbreaking around, like, since I was a little, as long as I can remember, it's just, violence has not made sense to me. It's channeled through me before, but it's like the violent ways of war in this world do not make sense to me. However, the political space to protest has also not ever felt compatible with my existence. Even going to protests it doesn't always resonate with me. And so I've really struggled with feeling like a radical and feeling like a peacemaker in this world and a healer in this world, and yet not knowing how to demonstrate that or not knowing how to participate. And there was something about the interpretation, or like whatever was offered in yesterday in the conversation, it resonated with me, and it made me feel like, oh yeah, this is my way of contributing is through not only the existence that I craft, the life that I craft around me in this strange system that we're in. But yeah, like living into that form in itself is a protest, is a healing form.
Thank you, Indigo. Yes, beautiful. Yeah. Nina, Rabea.
Hi, you beautiful women. I'm trembling now because so much has been going on in my life, and I feel like it's like connecting. Both my mother and my mother-in-law are in the hospital in the emergency room, which is, I feel it it's connecting. It's like there's something going on with these women and with, being a woman and how they live their lives. And yeah. Also, yeah, what do I want to share? First, I was so touched by the devotion. Oh my God. Devotion to yourself, to life, that Jennifer emanates. It is incredible, and it touched me deeply. In the surrendering, I felt grief. Also, I felt recognized and validated and seen. And it's also the authenticity that really, really moved me. This light created so much longing and belonging. And I wanted to share two more things. First, for me, the matriarchal world is over. The patriarchal world is ending, as we can see. And we need a new way. And that's why I just realized when Stefana was talking about it, there's a man born as a man now talking about on such a deep level about the female way. It just clicked in my head. This is what we need. This is how it's gonna work. This is the new way. This is a way. So I'm really grateful to have met her in that space. That was really good. And I would like to share a poem because he also asked about yesterday's, movement practice, which was so impactful before, boom, and then Jennifer came in. So, and I wrote it down after we stopped moving, and it's just, like the parts I'm naming here. It's like, you gave me tears, water, salt, and despair. You're the one to drink the tears, birthing anew. Standing in the ocean, rooting deep, only to wake up, to be able to walk on water, to find that anything supports my steps.
Thank you, Lina Robert. Thank you. Carmen, I have a little task for you in the private chat so you can help me set up the next portion of the call. We're going to go to Stephanie, and I'm really hoping we can wrap up this part of our discussion by 10. Hopefully more time for sharing as we go along, because we're not going to leave the themes. We're going to continue into the themes, but we have to create a little bit of space for a little bit more work today, okay? Okay, Stephanie.
Oh, I just feel so touched right now to listen to all of you. It's like I was wondering how the effect of experiencing her last night would land. And one part was tonight in my dreams. And before, I just wanted to share my dreams, because it was one dream I had. It's something about like, and when we get into our powers, do we know how to use them? And it feels a little bit like getting ideas of patriarchal structures inside of me that I need to see and understand, or to see new ways not to use the old ones. And what I was dreaming was not nice. I saw myself in places when I used my power against other women and didn't even realize that I was doing so. But I did. And I was dreaming of my sister, which I have one sister, blood sister, and I have a really hard time in the last 2 years after our father passed away, and we got a house to keep, and is a big mess. Is a big mess, and for the last couple of weeks, I'm having a hard time with this emotionally, because it just feels like I'm losing her. I'm losing the relationship to my own sister. And this dream this night was opening up for this, is about this powers and how to find into the new ways to see each other, that we are all different. So this is the effect that is happening for me. This is and now I'm sitting here, and I feel so touched. We're together for more than a half year, and I think for the first time I can feel each one of you inside my body when I listen to you. When you speak, it's just going through and through each voice of each one of you beautiful souls talking. I can feel, and I'm very thankful. Thank you.
Oh. Yeah, feeling you, Stephanie, so deeply, and all of you, really, all of your open hearts right now, all of us trembling or crying or feeling or leaning in, which really means that this does feel like sisterhood now, and right, wants some form of sisterhood. which you're speaking to, Stephanie, like some form of sisterhood that's being lost or being reclaimed, or we need to find the way again, right? And it's a really powerful inquiry to bring into an embodiment practice and session. Really, I am losing my sister. In my dream, I use my power against women, right? It's like, and just bringing that, like, and how can I reorient these two sisters within me? Like, can I be the two sisters in this movement? Can I have a guide help me with that? I strongly suggest that this is a possibility to explore. And just the grief of that too is so real. Holding that. Wow, I feel almost like a monster to have to kind of put like a, you know, close the door and be like, okay, the discussion is now ended. We can't hear from anybody else. I can't really do that. So how about this, Michelle? I need a body break really quickly, but how about you? I know Petra had her hand up. Maybe Petra, you can have that last share really quickly. And, you know, I know a lot has been going on in the chat that I've not at all paid attention to, but maybe Michelle, you want to hear from Petra, maybe summarize something in the chat, just complete the discussion, and I'll be right back and we can take it further.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's quite a short sharing about who was touched by witch or the unborn child of the witch. And in one period, I was very involved in, like someone told me, it's very short time that witch processes came along, and I was so there, and I just looked up in which time period the witch process in the area I was born and raised were actually happening. And the last witch process was in a lifetime of my grandmother. That says my grandmother grew up with the fear, and she grew up, raised my mother with those fears. So it's much closer to us still than we think. To take this as like being this evolved woman, Genevieve, she told about, to be sensual and sensitive and being aware of other things. This is so much closer to us than we think on a very long time. It's not just the industrial time of patriarchal time, like the last 150, 200 years. It is hundreds of years that it was very strongly perceived and in the womanhood. So that's, it's so close.
It's very close. Yeah.
And so I just remembered when I like the unborn child of the women. So that was something I remembered and wanted to share. So everybody who's in the theme and it touches, just look around. You were born where you were born and where it was still active.
Yeah.
And the grandmother, my nephews, they know their grandmother. I didn't, but they know their grandmother. So this is very close. Thank you.
Yes, it's still in our blood. Yeah. Nina. Oh, are you okay? You don't have your hand up. I'm wondering if we could just take a breath of integration of all of this, all of these different flavors, textures, pieces in sisterhood, in this beautiful community that we are cultivating together. And yeah, just take a breath together. So much here. Mm. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, so much, everyone. I feel like, it's balancing our time between opening up so much into discussion and then other things is not always in the favor of us having the freedom to share so much, right? But today I feel like we really were able to hear so much coming us straight out of our hearts and feels so nourishing to have done that. Thank you. By the way, Genevieve teaches regularly. Her current schedule is classes only in the evening in Mountain / Pacific time, like evening in the US, which means most of you in Europe, Turkey, and Israel are asleep at that time. But who knows, maybe recordings, I don't know. I will send you a link to her page. And we also had a earlier portion of yesterday's call that I heard a couple of you name a little bit about, but I feel like it's worth putting that back into the mix as well, because we had this collaborative effort, right? That didn't really feel like an effort. Felt very natural and very organic, and I want to do a lot more of that. What do you think? And I want to maybe get myself out of that mix altogether at some point soon, and just let you really take over, because something in the intuitive listening of the body and what someone is opening up, and then you taking it from there and leaning into what wants to come next. For me, that is one of the best trainings for guidance, for a guide. Because when you can do that, you can do everything. When you can stand in a room full of people and not be afraid to lean into the moment and listen to where the field wants to go and allow it to go there through your guidance, you can do anything. Because our egos get in the way so much, so often, mine including, but the truth is, the field is much stronger than you are as a guide. And when you can use it, meaning when you are not planning, not controlling, not having an agenda, not wanting it as to sound a certain way to your benefit, the field is working for you, and you are times more powerful than you can ever be as a self. Clearly, right? And, full transparency, I will share, I prepared a playlist for yesterday. I knew that I wanted at the end to work with something that held all the parts. I did not create a plan for how to go there. I didn't figure out what I'm going to say. The mother of all the parts came out in the moment, and I liked it, and I think it worked. And so I think all of what we did yesterday was very intuitive, and I wonder if there's just like maybe one or two very, very brief, like if anyone wanted to kind of anchor something in from that practice. Because, those guides really who worked with us, they also took us places. I mean, the use of metaphor, so incredible, because when we talk about mythopoetics, mythosomatics, if you really think of it, the entirety of the deep body work is mythosomatic, it's mythopoetics. You talk sensation, but we talk sensation like Nadia yesterday. What was it? The breath, the gentle lover of your breath. Your breath is a gentle lover, making love to your body right now. What about this is not full on mythopoetic, full on archetypal, full on universal lovemaking, right? She's talking sensation and breath, but in the deep body way, that's mythopoetic, you know. Then Darren like taking us into like the and the width of the hips and the bowl of the hips and what is like moving and boiling and churning there. I don't know the exact words she was using, but like all these metaphors, you know, and our work, everything in our work is deeply mythopoetic, right? But any last couple of things that you want to anchor in, like, you know, whether it's from experience, you experiencing the mother of all parts in you, or whether it's about something you want to point out and the guidance that worked out for you. Is there anything we can name about that? We can hear from a couple of people briefly. Maybe if you haven't spoken today, maybe. No pressure. Or if you really feel something wanting to be shared, even if you already spoke.
I would like to name, Andrea was also mentioning it, about how you can come to a movement being yourself in all of the smallness and confusedness and stress or whatever has been playing out in your sort of smaller world, and all of the stuff that's bubbling up and you can't quite reach, that's like in the deeper parts of you, and then you're blown open, and this sensation of being of myself as being bigger than that I forget that I'm so big. And I had that when we eventually came to the mother of all parts, this sense of overflowing me, me as not me, you know, in any way, the small individual me, but me as life itself, me as river, me as the one who literally scoops up all the parts, and all the parts just sort of roll over me and fly with me and flow with me. And that is like, I've been doing this work for long enough that you'd think I wouldn't be sort of shocked by it, but every time it happens, it's like, it's fuck, it's the whole yeah, it's just such a freeing experience. And that's what I so much want to share, is this experience of being totally freed from all the ways that you believe you are, or the world is, or truth is, or, you know, all of these things that we hold so tightly and constrain us, and that we can actually step out of that.
Oh.
So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I saw Nadia had her hand up before you, Michelle. So at this point, timing is kind of beyond me. If we want to do some real deep personal genius work today, I want, you know, like I really want to invite us to keep our shares brief at this time, please. So let's hear from people who want to speak, but let's kind of also kind of get there. Nadia.
I found the guiding so authentic and so unfair. So I want to thank the guides in your Stephanie. Really...
Oh, so, you're a little muffled. Can you say that again? You want to thank the guides?
I want to thank the guides in US Stephanie. It was, for me, wow. Like, the arms of an octopus, all of them with the same flow and the same part of the same.
Mm.
I found it incredibly beautiful.
Mm-hmm. The witch body opening up and doing the work through us. So, so powerful to be in that field. Michelle.
Yeah, I was going to say something similar, that having the different layers of guidance. I just keep coming to the image of our female anatomy, of how it's layer by layer by layer by layer that opens and opens and opens and opens. And with the different guidance, I felt that. I also felt that within my own parts. And as Carmen said, like I've, how long have I been doing this work and being in your world? And like every time it's like, what the fuck, like, how could we go any deeper? How could we possibly go any deeper? And yesterday for me, this has been coming up a lot in my journeys lately. And so I'm just going with it. And it is, making sound, but it's feeling like light language or something really primal. And what happens when it comes out of my mouth is that my entire body is activated. Like I show up in my body so much more deeply and completely when sound is coming out of my mouth. And that just is, I've made sound and all this stuff, but it's specifically like language that is coming out that isn't even mine. That feels like that portal that Genevieve was talking about, about the opening and the readiness to receive, what is meant to move through us. So yeah, it was really powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I have to, you take the opportunity to use her words again. I think I wrote them down: to open the organism to the tremendous sensitivity, to open the organism to tremendous sensitivity and beauty. Yeah, thank you. Mouse.
I think that word was tremulous. Maybe it was tremendous, but I remember her saying tremulous.
Ooh, maybe that was tremulous. Yes.
Tremulous. I just know that you said you want to keep the time and like keep it and like direct us into this evolutionary experience and keep us on track. And I just like how you were saying, as Genevieve was speaking, can we just take a moment to like just like pause and just like take this in and like repeat it and let it land? Like Stephanie was saying, like hearing each of your experiences and feeling your presence and like getting to know you through the expression of your personal experience and like feeling each one of you be moved and feeling the moving is like, it's like so precious.
That is the training, right? That's the training.
Precious. And to just have this time to like just like be with each other and feels so important. It feels so important, especially just, after the magnitude of the simplicity of the presence of Genevieve. Genevieve, this, but I just, yeah, thank you for giving us this space to be able to share and not just to like move on to the next thing. And like I just like feel so much of the wisdom what was shared yesterday and what we're experiencing is like the necessity of like the relational field and like coming back into relation like as a sisterhood, as a woman, with our ancestry, with the natural world, and the collaborative experience of yesterday was like so emphatically embodying that like beautiful unification of diversity that exists within the intelligence of our collective beingness. Yeah. I'm just so grateful for this space to hear everybody share. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Feels very precious. And it is a part of our work as guides in our respective communities to find ways to build this relational field, right? It is kind of a part of our work because in the relational field, we can then open up for the receiving, for the healing, for the sharing, for the reconstructing, for the reaccumulation of power, right? So yeah, very, very important. Thank you, Mouse. The relational field. The field is by definition relational, right? All right. Anyone else feel like they really want to add their voice to this constellation today? I do not want to ban or silence anyone from sharing themselves. Okay. Let's take our break now. Maybe even beginning by kind of, some to find a way to put this in our bodies, whether it's a stretch or a rooting or a shaking or a clapping or a touching, to kind of really allow our bodies to integrate what's been shared as we go into our break. And I will see you back in the room at 32 past the hour or 2 minutes after or whatever, 32. Okay. Again. Returning, calling us back to the circle. Just feeling into how to really even speak to the immensity of this portion of the work. From where we are, which is the perfect place, of course, and everything we've been doing has been building up to this point. The perfect timing of Genevieve's arrival here and all the work we've done with our inner family of parts and archetypes, and to the extent that you have hopefully explored it outside of the call time as well. But really wanting to speak to something, you know, I feel like so many of us were so deeply moved yesterday when Genevieve named the shepherdess, or the one who needs to reject social structures and reaccumulate her power of belonging and continuity, right? And those were not the same characters, but I'm just kind of speaking of two characters that she named. And how these, you know, like for in her, the relationship she spoke to about to the shepherdess, that is just felt such a tender, loving relationship, like a form, like the shepherdess was a form she sensed that was waiting for her for Genevieve to inhabit her, to become her, to, you know, for Genevieve to enter that form so that she can live the life she loves the most, so that Genevieve can live the life she loves the most by entering a form that was calling to her. The shepherdess. One of the ways in which Genevieve could make love to life was to enter the form of the shepherdess. And so my question will be, what is that form for you? What are the forms for you that are waiting not just for your love and recognition, but for your courage and for your blood and for your surrender, you know, because as we heard, and many of you heard it just the same way I did, the surrendering into these roles that we must hold. It's not just courage, it's not just standing, it's not just claiming, it's a deep surrender. It's a deep giving up of something else. It's a deep deconstruction of what isn't as true as this. Does this make sense? Yeah. And so I'm thinking about this, you know, and I think this may make sense to name something about my own surrender, or because it always is a tunnel of change and of becoming. It isn't like a one step or a 5 easy steps job, you know. It's not the 5 simple steps to conquer this thing and, you know, make it yours and stand in the world as a leader. One of the such like impoverishing teachings of capitalism and patriarchy is exactly that there are 5 easy steps to make something happen, to claim your truth and leadership because you've experienced some story and you've worked on some things, and now you've figured it out, and now you get to just be this complete version of yourself and go teach everybody else how to do it, you know. so simplistic because it has to sell. And capitalism, our stories have to sell. And this is the place I want to share this with you just because I need to. My soul is so tired. I can sit here for the rest of our 90 minutes together and weep of exhaustion from this. Because this is my gift. What I do with you, I will do it for free 7 days of the week if you are willing. I will do it for free for the rest of my life. It's what I love, it's who I am, but I have to sell it to survive. And by having to make a living out of it, something essential is lost. And I have to live with the conflict of that, selling this to you. This is the hardest part of my journey, is to sell a product. Oh God, yeah, I mean, I mean it. I can weep for the rest of our time together, and I want to. And I think what I'm saying is that that is the part of consumerism and capitalism and internal patriarchy that I feel completely done with. Like, I just want to sit here, and for those of you who may find me, to come and do these things with me. I don't want to have to sell or market or write newsletters or like, you know, it. And I know there's an organic way to do marketing, but fuck that. I'm so tired of it. So I went to, after last weekend together, I went to the Spiral in the forest nearby. It's a really beautiful spiral-shaped labyrinth, and if you see my stories sometimes on social media, you've probably seen a picture of it. I want to take you there one day, but obviously it's my place, my happy place, the Spiral in the forest. No one's there, just incredible. I had this moment. And let this moment serve as an invitation to me inviting you into your personal genius even further. I was standing there, there's like a steep pathway down to lead toward the spiral in the grass, surrounded by the hills. And you can literally walk the spiral, and it's a little bit of a labyrinth, like a labyrinth that you can actually kind of walk through. And I'm about to descend, right? The descent. And I'm just out of the archetypal weekend with you, like last weekend we were together, and so much moved for me, and I just wanted to go and pay my respects to the spiral, but I had not yet descended. And as I'm preparing to descend, this hummingbird that I had never seen before, a creature like that, meaning I see a lot of hummingbirds because they're native here, but this bright scarlet, gleaming, glowing, illuminated head, like of scarlet red. I don't know if you've seen them. Like I'd never seen one of those. Just came right up into my face, and it forced me or invited me to just to revisit what I had just been thinking about. And what I had just been thinking about was, I have to tell this to the women. I have to remember to tell the women this the next time I see them, to tell them, to remind them that we're not in this for the money or to become big or famous teachers or to make a big living, because it is so seductive to think, oh, I'm gonna rise into my power, and I'm gonna be this leader, and people are gonna know my name, and I'm going to make good money. There's no good money in this. There isn't. There really isn't. And I'm sure you can find, some of you may find your way, and I know some people do, and, but most likely you're going to find ways to sustain yourself with something like this, but you're not in this for the money. You're not in this for the fame. And what you're in this for is what you love. You're in this because you love what you have to gift to the world before you exit. You're here because you long and you yearn and you ache to give your gift. I trust that that's why you're here, right? And the hummingbird came and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, oh my God. And I will tell them, I promise. And she landed and flew away and came back, and another and another. And they looked a little different, which is how I know they were different. But I was in a 5-minute transcending experience of hummingbirds flying into my face, trembling, landing, flying away, another. And I was like, this must be a nest, right? It must be this cannot be about me, right? But then I did what I did with them. I was in my moment with them, descended into the spiral, turned back, and observed that place for another 20 minutes, and they never came back. So I had to accept that this was for me. This was for us to share that moment, and hopefully for something to continue living through that moment and what I can offer you, right? And so, you know, what we love is the cure. What we want to give for free is the cure. What we would do if we never had to make money, that is the cure. And this is where I want you to begin your exploration into your personal genius, because I can't teach you how to make big money or a big name for yourself by doing the deep body work, but I can definitely invite you to lean into what only you can do with this work. Yeah, I think that's it. So if you did and I hope you did, I will assume that you did the personal genius sheet. If you look at it again right now, you will see that it really is a worksheet of love. This is literally a worksheet for what you love, but also what loves you back. And I mean, what you love as a child. So native to you. Of course, what you love as a child is who you are, always. I don't know about you, but I loved, and I'm about to ask you, right? So you're going to share, but like, I loved teaching when I was a 5-year-old. I would have my entire library of books as my students. I will know each of their names by heart, each of the authors' names of the books by heart. And those are my, Edgar Allan Poe would be one of my students, or Charles Dickens, another student. And I would just teach them who knows what. And just so like, and being a ballerina, like always dancing through the living room, allowing so many of my peers and parents actually to make fun of me for that. But, I kept doing it. I had to dance as a kid, and that was it. And not in the way they told me to, not in the way they taught me in classic ballet. I had to rebel against that, right? So what you loved when you were the littlest is still the cure for your life. And I trust that I stand behind this with my life, And what you most naturally still love is the cure. That is the place through which your gift has to come through the lens of what you love. And I asked you on the genius sheet, like, what are the skills that you, not that you have, but that you love applying? Not the skills that you studied for, but that you loved applying. Maybe the skills you studied for that you love applying. But you have to love them, right? For them to count. If you have a skill that you don't really love applying, I'm not so curious about that. So all of this personal genius stuff has to come through how you love and what you love, because that's how you give your gift. And so before I come to you, like with to ask you to share, I'm going to say one more thing. So often we think about, oh, I love what I love. I have these talents somehow. And we forget to consider sometimes that what we love is how we are being loved back and guided by the fates, by the muses, by the destinies, by the mountain, by the ocean that knew of your life's arrival eons before you were conceived, right? Like I want to at least imagine, we think about, I go to marvel at the ocean. I go and I say, oh, forest, how gorgeous you are. Oh my gosh, the mountain. Whew. I feel so much love and respect for this mountain. But have you ever considered that the mountain too waits for you to go so that she can marvel at you too, so that she can remember you too, so that she can say, oh, finally you have come. I have been waiting for you for 1,000 years. I held a dream for your life for 1,000 years, so you can come and love here. So let's love together. Like, have you ever thought about it this way? Just imagine, maybe it's a far-fetched concept, but just maybe lean into that just a little bit. So what if the earth had a dream for your life? And here you are. And what if the earth gave you your talents, the most natural ones that you didn't have to move a finger to have? Your most natural childhood loves and talents. And that is how the earth and the universe, or the fates and the mysteries, made sure that you will love well and that you can, if you dare, give your gift to the world before you exit. So, yeah, I feel pretty done talking at this point. And I wonder, you did all of this work. That's Eros, isn't it? Yes. Yes, indeed. That's another word for it. You did all this work with this genius sheet, and I invite you to look back again and to read through it, to like really read through it and see how your own love for the world and for things and for people is looking back at you. Like literally look at what you've written and feel the love in every phrase and every word. And as you do that, I invite you to circle up a couple of phrases or words in each of those bubbles without order, maybe not even in all of the bubbles, but let's see if you can, as you read through these words that you've written, circle up. And if you have a digital version, I don't know, just extract a couple and write them down in a different, like, I don't know, just extract some of it by emphasizing it, saying, oh, this one, oh, yeah, all the ones are, all of them are true, but oh, this one kind of holds a lot of them in one. So circle up a few that feel really important. No, it's in a way I keep asking you, what do you love, dear? What do you love? And what has the earth inscribed in you to come with, right? So you can give your gift and your love. And you're looking at your personal genius sheet and you're like, oh, look at what I've been given. Look at what I love, so I can do the work I am here to do, so I can give the loving that I'm here to do. So I want to work with, let's say, one person for just a moment. And then all of you will have a chance to work with each other in this way. But I want to see if there's someone here who is willing to stand in the potentially tender, potentially uncomfortable place of sharing openly about what you love, and be with me kind of one-on-one for a moment, so I can do a little bit of work with you. Let's see, and I want to see if there's how many of you, because I know there's not just one person maybe feeling it, but I want to see how show me your hands, how many people are feeling this. Ooh, how to do this, how to do this. Oh yeah, okay, so everybody's hand is up. I get it. Amazing. Good. How should I do this then? That is difficult. I'm going to close my eyes and point my finger to one square, and I have Nadia there. And don't fear not, we will all do this work together today. So, God, I just want to do this. Can we just see each other every day next week, and I just get to do this with every person, and we get to be in this forever? Okay, Nadia, I'm gonna spotlight us just for a moment. We're gonna be here just for 5 minutes or so. Let's see what happens. Okay. Hi, Nadia.
Hi, Stefana.
Tell me, and I'm going to ask you this continuously. So you can say one thing and then fall quiet, and I'll ask you again. And so you'll get to answer the same question many times over. So you don't have to pack it all in the first answer. But I'm going to ask very simply, tell me, Nadia, what do you love?
Nature.
What do you love, Nadia?
The sound of water, natural water sources running.
Mm-hmm. And what do you love? What do you love about that for you and your body and your psyche? What happens between you and nature and the love of the running water?
I feel seen.
Now, what do you love about how you feel seen specifically by that specific relationship?
But I'm together, part of that moment.
Mm-hmm. That you are part of that moment. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me one more thing about what you loved when you were little. you really, really loved, how you loved spending time, or what you loved doing when you could do anything.
I loved to be unsupervised and gave my way, following my curiosity, unsupervised, free.
Mhm. And what did you love about what happened when you did? Where did that take you?
To hidden drawers, to secret places, to discovering secrets, to getting answers for my questions.
Mhm. Mhm. Secret drawers, discovering the secret answers to your questions. Yeah. Tell me what you love and a few more keywords or phrases from those 3 left side bubbles of your sheet. Just give me bubbles one after the other, from the kid, from the woman now, what you most naturally love. Just lay them on, not one after the other.
Just a few words from those 3 bubbles. Researching, to lead my own way. Creativity, storytelling.
Nadia, can I ask you to do the exact thing that you're doing? But I really want you to stand in those words with your presence. Not even stand, but I mean be in your body and in your voice, and put yourself in what you're saying.
Mhm. Storytelling, researching, leading the way, creating, walking, climbing, dancing.
Mhm. Yeah. Ah, yeah. Storytelling, leading the way, walking, climbing, searching, researching, but searching. Searching for my own secret answers to my own questions, to my own secret questions. Unsupervised, discovering, being seen by the river. Yeah. Just flowing. The river is just, tell me what the river does again when you go there, what do you love about it?
The sound of the river and I have a conversation. The river hears me and I hear the river.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So I want those of you witnessing us and listening with us and participating with us to chime in the chat. And Nadia and I are going to keep working for another little bit. But just as we do, I want you to help us, please. Tell us archetypally, who do you feel most organically here in Nadia's constellation? Like the curious explorer, the unsupervised seeker, right? Like just go creative about it. and personalize her, right? I see the rebel there, and great. Can you personalize the rebel to really pinpoint something about Nadia's specific rebel in essence? Let's play with that. So put that in the chat. And eventually I may kind of invite you in with the voice, but so we're gonna keep working for a moment as you guys are adding in some of the archetypes that you may see here. And when I say archetypes, I'm really saying archetypal mythic forces. What fates are at work in Nadia's life from the beginning, clearly. I mean, look at who she is. Let's help her see even more who she is, because we see it. I mean, don't you? She's telling us about her loves from the time she couldn't even speak clearly, maybe, or coherently. And here she is again, all the way at this point, and we are here to love and witness on her, to mirror back to her genius to her in the way that maybe she cannot do alone, right? Because when the village sees the genius can really be raised up. So let's see what's happening here. The water goddess, the whisperer of water, the living mystic, the weaver of magic, the sensual animal woman, the curious seeker, the miner for untold worlds and words, the knowledgeable seeker, so good, the investigator of family secrets. Oh my gosh, I just feel like my heart is like laughing in this Buddha way. The water nymph, the explorer with shiny eyes, the detective smelling her way behind the scenes, being in command of finding and revealing the truths. Amazing. I love you guys so much. Nadia, tell me, and again, I know you understand this. Be in your body as you tell me, be in your voice as you tell me, be true to yourself as you tell me. What values do you care about the most in this world? What causes, what rights, what things do you care about the most? What would you die for?
Righteousness.
Righteousness. Say a little more about this. Would you like to say a little?
Righteousness. I find peace in what is righteousness. What is righteous? What is fair? What is
just?
Because
I think with righteousness, sometimes we can have this like different connotation, like it's so righteous, someone tells us what to do.
Right.
I think you mean, right? Like,
what is fair?
What is fair? What is just?
What is balanced?
What is balanced? And is there a particular group of people that you are particularly thinking about when you think about this?
Children and women.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you thinking about a particular group of children and women that are particularly threatened in some way from injustice? Can you describe them even more? Like, yeah. Women who what? Or children who what?
The children that are not loved, seen, cared for, held, mirrored, fed, given the chance to be safe, go to school. The children that are marginalized.
Marginalized children, abandoned children,
Abandoned,
neglected children. And when you say children, is there a particular age that kind of is like, oh, that's like the age group that I care about all the children, of course, but there's a specific, like maybe teenagers or maybe around my daughter's age or maybe the 5-year-olds. Like, is there a particular group?
I think all children until they're
adults.
Yeah, 17, 18.
All the children. Yeah.
All the shaping, tender, formative years. Children that are shaping our future.
And with women?
And the women that are not able to give the children that because they have too been marginalized and oppressed and silenced and violated and unheard, unseen. So for me, it goes almost hand in hand.
Exactly. So the women and the children who may be neglected, abandoned, marginalized, oppressed, pushed out of the picture. Yeah, and what are you feeling there? I think you're touching your heart. What are you feeling when you think about them like that? What is that love for them? What do you want to do with your love for them? Like, if you can do anything for them, everything. Like, if you actually could really do everything for them, what would you do?
I would create a tribe, a city, a world, community, a web, a container where there is space for all of them to be together, to be cared for and hold each other, build belonging, build safety, build nourishment, build protection.
Yeah. Thank you. And that is how you want to give your love. That is one of the most powerful ways in which you want to give your life. To give your life. I said, kind of didn't mean to say that, but I think it works. Who is here, people? Let's help name this part. Who is here? This fierce protector of women. Well, I guess I just called her one way. But yeah, and you can also name her. Let's also name her. You can also unmute yourself and give her a name. Yeah, feel free to unmute, but also feel free to write it in, because let's begin thinking as a village together. When we look at Nadia, we're not like looking at Nadia, but when we feel together Nadia's love and Nadia's devotion and her values and her fierce justice keeping, right? Like, who are we seeing emerging as at least one powerful part of her archetypal genius? Because it is not only that she's telling us, I want to work with girls and women who are in some ways oppressed and unexpressed and marginalized, but she's also telling us, I am a girl and a woman who loves the river and discovery and flowing with the river and telling stories and searching in the woods unsupervised and climbing and walking, right? So if we look at who Nadia most naturally is and what you most care about to work with, how do these kind of come together? How can she work with girls and women by being who she simply is. I mean, I see Nadia taking girls and women together. Actually, all of a sudden, I'm having this vision of Nadia working with mothers and daughters, not separate children and mother, but like, and she takes them to a river, and she takes them to climb places, and she takes them to circle up together in the forest, but then to go explore, to find their own drawers and their own secret answers to their own secret questions. So when they come back to share them, they can become seen in their deeper truths that no one has seen until now, maybe. No one has had space until now, maybe. How does this land for you, Nadia, at all? Like, does it?
I know this. I know it.
You know that this is it?
I know this is very familiar.
Yeah,
I know it.
yeah, 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 yeah. What do you tell me about your emotional body right now? What are you feeling? Such emotion there.
I feel thunder.
Tender.
I feel soft. I wish those women were here in front of me so I can hug them and hear their stories.
Oh. And what I feel is that I want to bow to you, Nadia. That's what I feel. I want to bow to that in you, which is rising to claim her role and her gift in this world through your love and through your pain, right? It's like, this is it. This is it. This is what we're doing. This is the personal genius, right? So I'm like, I stand back, right? Because this is it. And now I am going to share with you, Nadia, what the rest of our village is speaking, and I ask you to receive it into your heart if you can. Protectress of the waters, the awakener of the waters within, liberator of the waters, the water woman who empowers the mothers and children to find their own river. Sovereign sisterhood, initiatrix, the spiritual warrior for deep justice, for the marginalized and the weak ones, children and women, guardian of the sacred safety and the clear waters. Pachamama, the fierce protector of the vulnerable, the Amazon, Mama Bear tribe builder. Oh my God, you people, I want to cry. Community builder and the defender, the guardian with fangs and claws, mother of us all. Mother of the forsaken, the one who sees, the Justice Tarot card. I'm going to send you this chat so you can shepherdess of the children, leading the way for the children so the children may lead the way. Oh my God, should we do this for every person on this call? Like today, we have to do this. Nadia, I really hope you feel seen, but it doesn't end here. And here's how I'm going to put it to you and to you all, right? Because this is where it begins. It's not where this ends. This is where it begins and continues. Where it must go, though. And I just been listening to this monk who has this way of, he'll take people on these retreats, right? And he will do this thing where for the entire time of the retreat, he will ask people to only journal and respond and move or whatever to one question. What will you do with this if you were only given 6 more months to live? And now what will you do with this if you're only given 1 month to live? That's it. That's all you get, 1 month. And what will you do if you have 1 week? What will you do with this? Because assuming that this is what you were sent here to give, like, why assume that we have this endless timeline, right? It's like, let's assume that the gift must be given now. And given that we're holding the circle for recognizing your gift now, I assume that you've been put on notice, not that your life is ending, but that your gift must be given. Not that it isn't already. Like, I know that your gift is being given in many ways already in your family, in your community, right? To your daughter, but the fuller gift, the whole gift. Anything you want to say before I let you go?
Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you so much. Let me remove myself too. I just don't even see myself though. And can someone unspotlight me from the co-hosts? And even, okay, thank you. Whew, that was moving, and I do really want to do it with every single one of you. And I wonder if, but that's exactly what we're gonna do. And not in the exact same way, because I won't be there, but you will be there with each other in this way, right? So let's go into that. So powerful, right? This is what we're doing, people. We're going into breakout rooms. There's 3 of you in each room. And one by one, and we will have about, damn, I really wish we had longer, but we're gonna have 10 minutes per person. I think that's enough to land with something, right? So for the first 4 or 5, one of you will ask the other, and maybe both of you will ask her, but one person may just witness, and one of you will ask, tell me, what do you love? What do you love? And tell me again. And now tell me again. What did you love when you were little? What did you love what do you love now? What do you care most about in this world? What would you die for? If you had 6 months to live, what do you have to give before you go? What must you make sure to give from your love, right? Like, and make these questions yours, like they have to feel true to you, right? But you can feel free to also just repeat them as I say them, right? Because this is mythopoetic work. This is archetypal work. This is opening up the mythopoetic body. And so when you hear the person share with you, then the 2 of you get the rest of the time, that these like left 5 minutes. So for 5 minutes you ask and you learn. And for the last 5 minutes, the 2 of you who have asked and witnessed the person can say, I see here the archetype of this, or the and you can personalize the archetypes just the way you did here. You guys are so powerful and brilliant. Look at what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. So I trust you fully to point out, to arrive, and you don't have to like, this is an unfolding work where it's not like we're going to arrive to the personal genius today and figure it out and name it one thing and that's it, right? We're just breathing life into this personal genius that will remain responsive throughout, and we'll just continue emerging, right? So today we're just landing with one part of our genius. We're helping someone see themselves more clearly in what they truly love and have to give to this world. Does this make sense? Oh, good. Okay, so 10 minutes each way. We're going to be in the room for 30 minutes total. I'm going to try and give you some extra time in there. So just dive right in. Any questions about anything? I'm so excited for you, for us. So go do the work. Carmen, we have the breakout rooms, right? Thank you so much for preparing those. And you can like hide the view without like the non-video participants. So Michelle and Carmen and I don't bother you when we come in to listen. Okay. Enjoy.
Andrea, can you join a room?
Not really right now.
Can I just say how potent the field is? Oh my God. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Just wanted to take a moment for each of us, each of you to just for a moment close your eyes, just for a couple of moments and make contact with your body. But what I really mean is make contact with your soul. With your hands on your body, make contact with your soul. And really breathe into and allow the recognition, the embodied recognition of this personal genius that is freely given to you as love. Feel yourself as all in all of the ways that you are named and seen and called forth today and now in the last minutes. Let yourself be this force that's just gushing and wants to love. Please notice any of your resistances, any of your small places that are saying, I'm not sure if I got there. I'm not sure if I can do that. Like, I don't, right? Like, just for a moment, just clear that away. Breathe space into that, at least into that open space through which you want to love on this world. And maybe just before you open your eyes, open your lips. You are all muted at the moment, but open your lips without concern that you're going to interfere with anyone. Just open your lips and hear a whisper to you from the mythic force of your personal genius. Let that whisper on your lips in some way now. And that whisper, let it land, let it actually live in the cells and in the tissue and in the skin, on the skin, as you open your eyes. I have so much reverence for you. And I see more has come through this last little bit. I see it laughing and crying and touching. And I'm leaving you with this question, because so much is open here. So much is open here this weekend together, and it will continue to doubtlessly, right? So stay like that personal genius funnel, right, on the sheet, stay open like that to ground even more of that genius that's really wanting to come through you. Stay so curious, so open, because if you are here today, that means your time has come. Time has come. It's like I'm tapping you on the shoulder and saying, what if you were given a 6-month notice to give the deepest gift you have for the world, to begin or to continue, but to be sure that you are in the work of giving, what Genevieve was doing with her hands yesterday. When you turn to give that gift to the world, right? And to continue exploring. I honestly feel like I felt so compelled to say, I want to offer a session on Wednesday, this Wednesday for 2 hours, whoever can come, and I can, put you in the middle and work with your personal genius, and we can all do this together a little more. And I'm not sure if this is what is needed or if this is within our capacity, but I'll just put it as an offer, like Genevieve did. The offer is there. Let me know how you feel. And next time, whatever that is, like Wednesday practicum, Carmen will be leading the call and Michelle will be supporting and co-teaching with her, and I will not be there, which is like a special kind of potion, in the field for you to, I feel like that will be one more way to make magic together without me there. Yeah, sisters. Yeah, beautiful ones. I see you. I really see you. And I think you see you too. I think you see you too. So let's unmute. Is there anything? Let's see. Maybe I'm not looking at the chat. And I know we need more time as always, but we don't have it. I honestly, the clock is just, I don't like the clock. My whisper was the rebel of innocence. Yeah. So let's unmute and at least exhale together, and let me know about Wednesday if you want this to happen. I'll be there, and we will work the personal genius a little more. And if
Did you
not,
say that Wednesday Carmen is doing the practical?
No, it's the Wednesday after, not
okay.
Wednesday. But if we need a little bit more space, I can offer a little bit more space this Wednesday. Another way to do this is like message me or voice message me, and I can with your personal genius a little more, because that is my gift. But keep doing what you love, keep loving what you love, and I will see you when I see you.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Much love to y'all. Stay well.
Love that. Bye bye.